Hey everyone, it's Nick Geo, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the financial cost of raising a child, and this is specifically about the cost in the US. So I'll be using dollar amounts, and if you want to figure out maybe you're in a different country, how much it might cost you, you can just kind of convert US dollars to whatever currency you're working with. Okay, so in 2015, the average cost of raising a child was $233,610. And this was according to the United States Department of Agriculture. You can go to this website if you want to. This was published in 2017, and they haven't had any sort of updated costs within the last 6 years. The sum total will vary from family to family depending on many factors. Um, there's a lot of variation in what people pay for and things like that. And I'll talk a little bit about that variation. Okay, where does the money go? So you can see all the pictures of what I'm going to talk about. Um, oh yeah, in the bottom right where my head is, there's a minivan right there. So 18% or $42,050 goes to food. 29%, which is this is the biggest amount, 67,747 goes to housing. You can see housing here. You can see the food right here. Okay, 15% goes to transportation. That's $35,042. 9%, $21,025 goes to healthcare. And for me, I had over 100 surgeries, so mine was probably more expensive for my parents, but luckily they had money for us. 6%, $14,017 goes to clothing, which I found this image. You can't really see it, but maybe if I hold on. No. Um, this is like a kids section, and there's this sign right here that says Pretty Little Things, which I find a little creepy. 16% or 37,378 goes to childcare in preschool up until 12th grade education. So paying for books, paying for calculators, and I think a big chunk of it actually is childcare with all the babysitting and stuff. Sometimes families get lucky. Like I have a coworker who she gets babysitting from her parents, so that's nice. But like my parents, we went through a couple different babysitters, and then 7%, which is $16,358, goes to miscellaneous. So they didn't say what miscellaneous meant, so I thought, okay, presents, toiletries like toothpaste, toothbrush, maybe some floss, maybe shampoo and stuff. Tennis tournaments, okay, that last one is just about me because I probably did about a dozen paid tennis tournaments when I was growing up. Okay, that all doesn't include the cost of college, which families may or may not pay for. So for me, my parents paid for my college and for my three younger sisters' college, all the tuition. So we were very lucky to not be in debt. So it kind of depends on the family situation. The annual cost of 1 year at a private college in the US was $45,370 in 2015. The annual cost of 1 year at a public college, $20,090. This is all in the US, so it's going to be a different number for international. Okay, if a family decides to pay for their child's 4 year private college, that would be $181,480 on average, or in total, if you think about that $233,000 number, $415,090 in total. And it's a little bit better with public college. So the total would be if you paid for public college and ages 0 to 18, that would be 313,970. Sorry, there's like a little beetle on my wall. I don't know how it got inside my apartment, but I'm gonna have to get rid of it after. Okay, there's variation in how much children cost around the US though. So you can see kind of apartment buildings here and then kind of more out in the middle of nowhere. So the urban west, so that would be things like I think on the map they showed kind of the mountains area and then also the Pacific Coast, the West Coast. That costs about 245,460, and that's I think a large part of that is just the housing costs are higher in, for example, California. The urban Midwest costs 227,400. Okay, so a little bit lower than average from that 233,000. So that's I grew up in the urban Midwest, so my parents are probably happy. Urban South costs $232,050, which is very close to the average. The urban Northeast costs $264,090. You can see two of these are kind of above average, two are a little bit below, and it's offset. You get that 233,000 because rural areas cost less, $193,020, which still a decent amount, but if you go from 230,000 to 190,000, so that's a difference of 40, so that's close to about 15-20% or so, just doing quick maths. And additionally, rural housing costs $2,400 annually per child, while urban housing costs $3,900 annually per child. And you got to put that into perspective because money, it's always a choice of I can spend my money on this or I can spend my money on this. A lot of opportunity costs there. So all the costs of having children cut into spending on other things. Let's focus on saving for retirement because other things like vacation or I guess a car has a set value, but vacations vary and stuff. But I just focus on retirement because I'm starting to think about retirement and how much I need to save each month. So according to SoFi, this article right here, and I'll put these links in the description. Americans aged 65 and older spend an average of 48,106 per year. And I'm going to check really quick. No, I'm going to just click into this. I'm trying to figure out when this was. I think it's 2021. I think this is more recent data. So there's a little bit of inflation there. Let's go back. Okay. Let's assume you want to retire at 65, and then let's assume that with better healthcare and technology that you die at 85, so 20 years after retirement, which for us, like I'm 65, that's what, 37 years away from me, so that kind of makes sense for me. Because right now the life expectancy in US is 77.3 years, according to the CDC. In this article, CNBC talked about it. So you'll spend 20 years worth of retirement, or you'll have 20 years worth of retirements, but that money times 48,106 per year, which is a little under 1,962,120. This is not adjusting for inflation, though, which would mean that you'll need more money than this by the time you reach age 65. Actually, NerdWallet has a retirement calculator. So for me and my spending, like how I want to spend, how I want to save, they wanted me to have at least like, I think 1.6 or 1.7 million in retirement. It's just kind of that deals with inflation. So inflation is baked into it. So that's why it's a higher number. Okay, so having to pay around $233,610 for each child you raise is going to make it more difficult to retire, especially if you want to have more than one child. Okay, in conclusion, so one way would be having kids, another way would be not having kids. I'm not saying that no one should have any more children because of how costly they are. Everyone has to make that choice for themselves, weighing the pros and cons. There are plenty of people here who are in this world that having kids is the right choice for them, and they make that choice. And there are also people who having children is not a good idea, and they make that choice not to have children. But then you have some people who maybe they don't want kids and then they flip-flop, or they want kids and they have them and then they're like, oh, this is costly. So there are a couple different categories. I'm simply elucidating one aspect of having children that potential parents may overlook: the financial cost of raising them. And I'm going to write this down. Hopefully, I remember. I'm going to talk about the environmental cost of having children, with climate change and all of that. So that'll probably be most likely next weekend's video. I'm trying to do like one video each week. The financial cost is one of the reasons why I do not want to have any kids, on top of the other reasons. Those reasons you can find in other videos I made in the child-free playlist that I have on my channel. You should do a lot of research on raising a family before you make a decision to have kids or not have kids. So that's kind of the bottom line. I'm just showing you one thing, but I'm not saying, oh, everyone should be like me. No, everyone is their own person. So, but yeah, that's about it. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about all this research I presented? Maybe what's your experience? Are you child free? Are you a parent? So talk about that. Like and subscribe, please, guys. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. I have a nice 3-day weekend this weekend. So no work on Monday, which is nice. All right. Bye, everyone.